Welcome everyone for this weekday evening program, and we would like to welcome His Grace Kanai Thakura Prabhu ji. So big round of applause for the. It's not for his appreciation. Just bring your attention here to. So he's here now. So I'll give brief introduction about Prabhu ji. Prabhu ji is Brahmachari at iskcon Pune since 2004. That's the year I left Pune, 1 year before. He is a member of Management Council Board in iskcon temple in Pune and served as a youth preacher among many other roles. Before taking up monk life, he did MBA from Symbiosis, Pune, and worked at several multinational companies. He is a senior disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. He is leading iskcon Vishal Nagar, Pune Center, where he have around 30 brahmacharis are living. He conducts Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav course as well. He is also a lifestyle coach and guides many corporate professionals around India and the world. So let's welcome again Kanai Thakura Prabhu ji. And the one important aspect of his introduction, I forgot to ask. He is also assisting Radheshyam Prabhu ji in many various ways, right? So let's hear from Prabhu ji, and we'll keep the question answer session in the last. So please, be ready with your questions to be answered. Hare Krishna.
All like that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay. Can I get kartans?
Yeah.
Let's see, Jai Radha Madhav. You play everything? Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Gopi Janavallabha Giri Vardhadhi Gopi Janavallabha Giri Vardhadhi Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachati Yamuna Tira Vanachati यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीर वनचारि यमुना तीर वनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरकृषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम् Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all of you for we'll discuss today from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 15, chapter entitled The Yoga of the Supreme Person, and we'll discuss text 8 with a particular theme. Actually, what will be our theme? Shariram yad avapnoti yachapi utkramatishvaraha गृहीत्वैतानि संज्ञाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशया. This 15.8 once again. शरीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रामतीश्वरः Vihitvaitāni samyāti Vayurgandhani vāshaya. Give one amongst Prabhuji's and one amongst Mataji's.
Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramatishvara Gruhitvaitani sanyati Vayurgandhani vāshaya.
Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramatishvaraha Gruhitvaitani sanyati Vayurgandhani vashaya.
Translation and purport by His Divine Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. The change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. If he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or dog, he is sure to change to a cat's or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything is finished. The individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background of his next body. One gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body which carries the conception of the next body develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. Thank you everyone for joining in today for this evening satsanga program. Today we'll discuss something on the topic of desire management. You may have heard of many courses on management, different subjects, and is this sound proper? Is it echoing? It's echoing? Yeah. Something's happening. So, the spirit soul. What is a spirit soul? Spirit soul is composed of desires. You can say. The soul desires. In the body that we have, the gross body and the subtle body, right? Actually, who is desiring here? So many desires keep manifesting in our heart. Right? We observe some things, we come across some things, right? Situations, right? And we express desires. So these desires come from the soul, and this desire is what has brought the soul from spiritual world to material world. What has dragged us down is ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata. Ichha, right? We desired. I want to be an enjoyer like Krishna, right? मुझे भी वैसा ही कुछ करने की इच्छा है, भगवान बनने की इच्छा जो था, desire. That desire brings us to this world. That desire keeps us in this world, right? Because we desire to be in this world, right? We desire to be something of this world. And Prabhupada is saying we simply have to desire, and we can go back home, back to God, spiritual world. So what we need to learn in this human form of life is the desire management. this course everybody should do. What kind of desires should I have? What are right desires? Right? And like I said, when we come across things in this world, so there are two words. There is one word called parasthiti. Right? In Hindi or Marathi, paristhiti अच्छी नहीं है बोलते हैं parasthiti. So parasthiti, and there is something called as manasthiti. Right? So parasthiti is the external world. Right? जो बाह्य जगत है, external world, इस परिस्थितियों के ऊपर हमारा कंट्रोल नहीं है. We have no control over the parasthiti, but we are expected to develop some good or some sort of good control over the manasthiti. How would our mind respond? Right? How would our subtle body respond to situations and circumstances that we come across? Right? But there is a parasthiti and there is manasthiti. And what happens? We have senses, and these senses act like radar. Right? A radar is scanning objects, right, in the atmosphere. What do these senses do? These senses are scanning for sense objects, and as soon as a sense object is seen, a desire develops. Right? So, okay, sir. इतना जोर से आवाज नहीं आना चाहिए. Okay. So, and when we develop desires, the scriptures tell us there are certain desires which are okay, fine. But most of them, we have to ask ourselves, should we be even entertaining them? When these desires come up, right, at that time you have to ask us. So parasthiti will affect our manasthiti. Right? Whatever parasthiti will come in front of us, that will surely affect our manasthiti. And Prabhupada is saying at the point of death, how is your manasthiti? Right? Who can tell me the verse from Gita? Krishna says, at the point of death, that will determine what will be the next body. Prabhupada is saying in the purpose. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Smaran bhava. Whatever is bhava, whatever you are doing smaran of, whatever you desire at the point of death. Okay? So, two D's, desire and deserve, but the desire factor is very important. Right? We may not deserve, but by fluke, as they say, we desire for Krishna at the point of death. There's a very good chance Krishna is very merciful. Now, Ajamil happened to call his son, but got the second chance. So, this desire factor is very important. And all of us need to learn this desire management as we become devotees also. Right? Sometimes we may even tell our children, right? No, don't desire such things. No, don't ask for it. It's not good. Right? We are training them, we are teaching them on desire management. Right? Otherwise, if Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Kata asurika durachar, if you fulfill all the desires that you get, right? Whatever I think of, whatever I feel like, that I should get. What will we become? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Asura and Durachari. Kato Asurika Durachar, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Durachari. So, are we here to become Asuras? Are we here to become Duracharis? No, we are not. We are here to become devotees. So, what should we do? So, parasthiti may not be in our control. How the world will be around us, how will the situations manifest in front of us, but how do we respond, right? So, like they say, mindset is half the battle. How is your mindset, right? So, first, what is the time now? I have to be careful about time. My laptop, because it does not have this location settings, I'm not giving it access to it, so it is still showing me India time, 5:08. And my watch also is India time even now. Right. So, you'll find two examples in Bhagavatam. The parasthiti, right? So, Bharat Maharaj is one example of parasthiti. Gross level, what happened, the parasthiti in front of Ajamil was, he saw a man and a woman, in the forest, and that dirty scene affected Ajamil so much, his mind got disturbed. Complete the manasthiti got disturbed. And then desires came. I also want to enjoy. I also want to have. Right? Now you find Bharat Maharaj apparently underwent a subtle level of distraction. Not gross, subtle. He just felt, I can take care of the baby deer. But he did not realize when that desire came up, that I am the control, I am the provider, I am the controller, I will take care of this deer. And in Bhagavad Gita, what do we find? So parasthiti and manasthiti is there. Parasthiti will affect our manasthiti, and from there desires come. So the Atma has desired to enjoy separate from Krishna. An apparatus is given to the Atma of the gross body and the subtle body and the material world, and the Atma is like going through the roller coaster ride now. One wrong desire, I want to be Krishna, or I want to enjoy like Krishna, or I want to be the competitor. Right? And what has happened now? Now the parasthiti, manasthiti, and in that the soul. The soul only wants to enjoy now. What will be considered as enjoyment? Sometimes we may feel sorry for somebody will be enjoying in a certain way, like somebody is enjoying liquor or stuff like that, and we may feel, पर कभी कभी भूल जाते मैं भी ऐसा ही था पहला मैं भी ऐसा ही था I also would have been like this only, right? But what I'm trying to say here is, so parasthiti, manasthiti, so we have to be very careful. Situations, we may be like, look, even Ajamil was very qualified man. If we read Bhagavatam and see Ajamil's qualification, we like chullu bhar paani mein doob jana chahiye. Who are we here? And what to say of Bharat Maharaj? For them it was so difficult. Can you imagine how much careful we have to be in this desire management? And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru, he would say, Narad Muni took 3 lives. Who can recollect the 3 lives of Narad Muni? Upabharana, then a son of in the village, he was there. Then Narada. Thank you. Bharat Maharaj took 3 lives. Which are Bharat Maharaj, then the deer, and then the Jada Bharat. Chitraketu, the king. Chitra, then the Vidyadhara, and then Vritrasura. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, भागवत में सबको 3-3 जन्म लग रहे, तुम्हारा आसानी से होने वाला. Don't think it's going to be very easy. Prabhupada is giving us hope. It's going to be easy. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur would say, how much you have to be careful with your desires. Because at the point of death, what desires will manifest? If the Cheto Darpana Marjanam has not happened, if the heart is not completely pure, once again we may have a worldly desire. And like Prabhupada is saying in the purport, accordingly one may get a body. So I was having prasada with Harivilas Maharaj in Seattle. So I was appreciating him for sharing a memoir that he had in France. When Prabhupada was around, and in the audience, one boy got up and said, I am not afraid. I don't mind if I become a dog in the next life. Because Prabhupada in the lecture said, oh, if you lose this human form of life, then you may have to become a dog. If that's the kind of desires you have. And this boy got up and said, I don't mind if I have to become a dog. And Prabhupada said in the mic, you have my blessings. And Harivilas Maharaj says, I was so fearful. The pure devotee has given it. He'll have to, even if he doesn't want to, he'll have to become a dog now. So scary. So we have to be very careful with the desires. Why? Because as soul, we can only desire. Who is fulfilling the desire? Krishna. And Krishna reciprocates with all our desires. Right? Sometimes as devotees, right? Like I'll give you one example. When the home that I grew up in, Maharashtra and all, so generally we would worship Ganesha, right? And every morning, evening, I would chant Ganesha Stotra, Atharva Shirsha, Ganapati Stotra, Dhanam dehi, janam dehi, rupavati bharya dehi, japet gadpati stotram shadbhir masai phalam labhe. इतना chanting किया उसको. And my mother one time asked me, तुमको मिली क्यों नहीं? So I had to tell her, maybe I was not very serious about chanting that time, but every morning when I chant Shikshashtakam, na dhanam, na janam, now I'm saying, no, I don't want that, Right? So money, followers and all these things, that what happens when the heart is not pure. So I was saying Krishna reciprocates with all our desires. Right? So they say when gods want to curse us, they fulfill our desires. The gods want to curse us. So one fellow, you will find in the Krishna book, there was one guy named Poundarak. This Poundarak came all the way to Dwarka to do what? He said, Krishna went all the way. So Poundarak, he attacked and he called out to Krishna saying, give up your Sudarshan. Sudarshan doesn't belong to you. I am the original Krishna. Give the Sudarshan to me. So all that Poundarak desired was, I want Sudarshan. And what did Krishna do? Take it. Krishna just left the Sudarshan. And what happened? Sudarshan Chakra, it cut off the head of Poundarak. So one has to be so careful what we desire, because Krishna reciprocates with our desires. So now we'll take few classes of people. Right? Let's say take the atheists. Okay. I broke the news first. So Krishna reciprocates with everyone's desires. Who is fulfilling the desires of the atheists? Krishna. Even if you say, I don't want Krishna, I don't accept Krishna, for them also their desires are being fulfilled by Krishna. And which is the largest growing religion in the world? Atheism. Who is fulfilling their desire? Right? They are called nones. N-O-N-E-S. Nones, they call themselves. So 14 to 33% growth. Right? So I'll just read for you. 4th December 2018, they brought out a letter written by Albert Einstein, and this was brought out at the Christie's auction. And it says, a handwritten missive by Albert Einstein, known as the God Letter, fetched almost $3 million at the auction. What was written in the God Letter by Albert Einstein? So he says the 1.5-page letter, written in 1954 in German and addressed to the philosopher Eric Gutkind, contains reflections on God, the Bible and Judaism by Albert Einstein. Einstein says, the word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weakness. The Bible, a collection of honorable but still primitive religions which are nevertheless pretty childish. Albert Einstein is writing this. The sentence has been hailed as evidence that the physicist, one of the 20th century's most esteemed thinkers, was an atheist. But Einstein at times said he was not an atheist and resented being labeled as one. In the letter being auctioned at Christie's in New York, Einstein, a Jew, also articulates his disenchantment with Judaism. For me, the Jewish religion, like all others, is an incarnation of the most childish superstitions. And the Jewish people to whom I gladly belong and with whose mentality I feel profoundly anchored, still for me does not have any different kind of dignity from all other people. Is Einstein, man. Atheism, who is, in London there is a guy called Richard Dawkins. Right? He has written a book, The God Delusion. God brings you out of illusion, delusion. This is God Delusion. That's the name of the book. Can you imagine? Right? Now, and so many kids going to school, college, and what is the first casualty? We don't want to come to temple. We don't want to come to programs. We don't want to go. Why? See how atheist. Now, the desire to remain an atheist, who is fulfilling that desire? That also Krishna is fulfilling. What about the karmis who work hard Right? They think by our hard work we are gaining it. But for karmis also, Krishna is reciprocating with their desires. Then we have another category called karma kandi. Right? In Bhagavad Gita you find they will worship demigods, and Krishna says in the Gita the demigods are the agency by which their desires get fulfilled. Ultimately Krishna is only doing. You have jnanis, right? The jnanis want liberation. Who is awarding? Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu evana samshaya. There is no doubt. Mukunda, Mukti pradata sarvesham. You have siddhi kamis, those who are looking for siddhis, right? They want material powers, subtle powers. Then for them also Krishna is fulfilling their desires. Then you have yogis. They also want liberation, right? Who is awarding them? Krishna. So whatever you are and whatever you desire, that desire is being fulfilled by Krishna. What about devotees? Who is fulfilling our desires, right? So we have all come to the fold of devotional service. We have to ask ourselves, now that whatever desires we have, how do we manage it? We are very sure to everyone Krishna only is providing. Krishna only is fulfilling their desires. All the more as devotees, when we come to Krishna and we express our desires, right? How much careful should we be? We may forget them, but Krishna never forgets, right? Like internet never forgets. You may delete. You may delete your comments, but everything gets cached. Google knows everything. Nothing is hidden, right? Similarly, nothing is hidden from Krishna. I may forget the desire, and which lifetime I had made that desire, I don't know. But Krishna will bring it forth. You wanted it, the parasthiti is created. Now what do you want? You want it? If you want it, say yes for it. You'll get it. Right? So, Krishna says in the Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. However you approach me, whichever way you approach me, I reciprocate with your desires. Whatever desire you manifest. So as devotees, when we approach Krishna, Ye yathamam prapadyante. When I approach Krishna. So, that's why Srila Prabhupada will find so often in Prabhupada's lectures, sometimes they sound very hard to digest. But time and again Prabhupada has to tell devotees, sense gratification cannot make you happy. Don't desire it. Right? But what happens? We think, thoda to chalega, thoda. Little bit. But little bit ke kab stretch karte the. When we stretch it, we also don't realize. And so many times devotees will say, Prabhuji, I am not able to practice properly. My practice is going haywire. Up, down, chalta hai, thoda, thoda. What is taking it away? Where is our conviction going? Sense gratification makes our determination go weak. How much sense gratification is allowed? We have desire, we have senses. The senses have some demands. So the scriptures explain, sense gratification is allowed as much as salt is required in your food. Little less, फिर taste कुछ नहीं खाने का. More, exactly as much as you need salt in the food. Not too less, not too much. Right? But surely, Krishna also gives so many verses in the Gita. Generally, we tend to go on the excess side. We end up going that side, and that's where casualty happens in our devotional service. That's where when we desire more than what is allowed, right? Isha vasyam idam sarvam yatkinchit jagatyaham jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrida kaschit svidhanam. So Prabhupada says, as much as your quota. Right? Kota purta, pota purta. In Marathi, kota purta, pota purta. As much as you are allowed. Prabhupada says the lion will not eat grass. And the deer will not start eating, animals. Everyone knows how to live in their quota. But what happens with humans? We have intelligence and we end up encroaching on everyone else's property. Right? So, what do? So as devotees, we should be very sure ye yatha mam prapadyanti. Sometimes the jnani may not know, is it Krishna doing it? The yogi may not know, is it Krishna? As devotees at least we should know Krishna is watching. Like Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in the heart, every desire. Right? Like इसमें कुछ नहीं. There are flowers which are fragrant also actually. Please don't think flowers are like this. So what do you do with the flower? You can smell the fragrance, right? Prabhupada says Paramatma can smell your desires. You know this? Smelling your desires means what? Before you manifest maybe, and Paramatma is or Krishna is aware. So sometimes what happens, we as devotees, practicing devotees, we read Bhagavad Gita, we hear lectures, we sometimes give lectures to others like me, right? Sitting here I am giving lectures, but sometimes we secretly desire something that should not be, right? Because we secretly disbelieve Krishna. नहीं बोला ठीक है, अच्छा गीता में बोला है, वहाँ तक ठीक है, it's good, it can remain till that point. Life, we have to be practical with life, right? Practical life is different, I have so many, and sometimes in the name of duty, I have my duties, I have my responsibilities, and I am not going, beyond my quota. So we secretly harbor wrong desires. Will Krishna fulfill it? You are chanting Hare Krishna, but you secretly harbor wrong desires. Will Krishna fulfill? I have a question for you. Will Krishna fulfill those desires? Yes or no?
Like a curse.
Sorry?
That's like a curse, yes.
That's like a curse. Look, see, Krishna is supposed to take you back home, back to Godhead. Will he fulfill such desires of his devotees? Wrong desires? Yes or no? Do parents fulfill the wrong desires of their children? Will Krishna?
Yes, no.
Yes, no means what? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. No, Bhagavatam has examples. Daksha, he got the darshan of the Lord. But all that Daksha wanted was expertise in sex life. And Krishna awarded it, did not give him love of God. He did not get. Right? You have example of Pururava Maharaj. He got darshan of the Lord. But all that he said was, I want Urvashi. I want to spend time with her. And he got it. And in iskcon it was a huge controversy. When Prabhupada books came in, and Prabhupada books would come chapter by chapter in those days. And Prabhupada was releasing it. And when this section came out, they saw Pururava and the Lord blessing, okay, you be with Urvashi. And 9th canto ends there. And they're like, hey, Bhagavatam mein kya hai bhai? How did this happen? All stories are going different way, pure devotional service. But then in the 11th canto, you have Aila Geet. Right? But example here is the Lord fulfills the desires. If you keep, as a practicing devotee, if I harbor some wrong desires, even that will be fulfilled. If I see that wrong desire is anarthana, I see that we are all struggling with desires. We know what is right and what is wrong. There are wrong desires, but I understand that this wrong desire is an anartha. I see it as no good for my spiritual practice. I don't desire that it get fulfilled. It is lurking. Hai andar. Right? That purification, that deep, that desire is too deep and it's not getting purified. What will Krishna do now? I am sincere. I don't want to get it fulfilled. But that desire always haunts around.
Give intelligence.
What will Krishna do?
He will give intelligence to...
Krishna will give intelligence for how to fulfill that desire. अच्छे से प्रेम से बेटा तू बहुत सिंसियर है तो अभी मैं बताता हूँ चोरी कैसे करने की. What will Krishna do now? See, sometimes Krishna's position can be, so risky position to be at. क्या करूँ इस भक्त का? He's sincere, she's sincere, but still has, lurking desires, material desires, wrong desires. What will Krishna do?
Send his devotees too.
Send his devotees. Okay, we'll keep devotees away. With this devotee who has this lurking desire, wrong desire, what are options with Krishna?
Krishna will fulfill and then you will frustrate you in giving that.
Very good. Krishna will do this. Krishna will allow you to allow the desire to get fulfilled, but fulfill it in such a way that agli baar nahi. Prabhupada gives example as a small boy. Prabhupada had this desire to put his finger into a running fan, moving fan, right? And his father would stop. No, don't do it. And then, but he would still not listen. A diamond boy. So Prabhupada says, what did my father do? He plugged off the fan, and when the fan went slow, but still moving, his father said, Ab dalo only, now put your finger. So I tried, and it hit my finger. Now will you do it again? I won't desire. Says Krishna may do that with a sincere devotee, but holding on with some sinful desire. Krishna may allow it to get fulfilled in a way that we will never ask for it again. Any other option with Krishna?
He will take away the desire to enjoy it also. He will give you the desire, but he will purify the desire.
He'll purify that desire.
Noah, for that matter, he had a desire
Yes.
to get a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. He got it. But then it was there in his heart.
Yeah.
And Krishna purified the desire by dint of his pure devotion service.
Krishna purified his heart in a manner that even after Krishna fulfilled that desire, he was regretting.
Yes.
See what Krishna creates the state of the heart of the devotee. The state of the heart will be, even if you get it, you regret. Why was I holding on with it? Why did I ask for it? So Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna kohe ama bhaje magi vishay sukh. Hey, you worship me. And you're asking for vishay sukh, you're asking for material happiness, right? Amrut chhadi vishamagi ei bodo murkh. Krishna is saying, Krishna kahe ama bhaje mage vishay sukh. Amrut chhadi vish mage ei bodo murkh. You're giving up nectar and asking for poison. How fool. Krishna doesn't stop. Krishna is still thinking. Krishna says, Ami Vigya. मैं बहुत होशियार. Krishna is talking about himself. I am very smart, I am very intelligent. Ami Vigya ei murkha. This guy, this devotee is fool. Ami Vigya ei murkha. Vishay ke ne diba. Why will I give him sense gratification? Swa charnamrita diya vishayo bhulaiva. I will give the charnamrita, I'll give the proper translates it as, since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. Swa charanamrita diya vishaya bhulaiba. Kamalagi Krishna bhaje pai Krishna rase. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Now 2 verses what Krishna thinks. Now he says, Kamalagi Krishna bhaje. You have a material desire and you worship Krishna. Pai Krishna rase, you get Krishna rasa instead. Kama chhadi das hoite hoy abhilashe. The same worshipper now says, I don't want it, Krishna. Then Krishna, फिर क्या चाहिए? I want to be your servant. How did that change happen? Because Krishna gives that higher taste. In Prabhupada's, way of putting it, Prabhupada says, if you are given nice halwa, will you ever ask for stool? Prabhupada says this. If you get nice halwa to eat, you won't ask for stool anymore. Similarly, the wrong desire, the lurking desire in the heart, how does Krishna bring his devotee out of it? Krishna gets involved and says, I will give swa charanamrita diya vishaya bhulaiva. So, the example of Dhruva. He had a desire I want a kingdom greater than kingdom, forget kingdom. I want a position, not just kingdom here. I want a position bigger than Brahma. There is no kingdom as such. The whole universe is Brahmaji's universe. He had such a desire, and what happened? Did Lord fulfill that desire?
Yes.
He fulfilled. And after the desire was fulfilled, and Dhruva has to go back to the kingdom, to his father's palace, Dhruva is regretting. He's crying. Why? Why did I hold on with that desire? But now what has Krishna done? Krishna has given such a higher taste that Dhruva Maharaj, he sthana vilashi tapasi sthitoyam tvan praptavan deva munindra guhyam kachan vichinvam api divya ratnam swamin kritartho asmi varam nayacha. This was Dhruva Maharaj's situation. Sthana abhilashi tapasi sthitoyam. I wanted the great position of Brahma, and that's why I sat in tapasya. But tvan praptavan, आपको प्राप्त कर लिया भगवान. त्वं प्राप्तवान, who are trying for it? Deva, Muni Indra Guhyam. Very difficult even for them to reach you. But he says, Kachan Vichinvam. Now I have realized I was simply begging for broken pieces of glass. The desire that I was holding great in my heart, for which I started from home, came to forest. Now I realize simple broken pieces of glass. Your own desire, but now when the heart has become pure, by Krishna's mercy, how do you see it? Look at that desire. Kachan, simple glass, broken glass. But what did I get instead? Divya Ratnam. I got the rare jewel of bhakti or Krishna's darshan. Kachan vichinvam api divya Ratnam. He says, Swami, Lord, kritarthas, kritartho, varam na yachi, don't give me. Krishna still gives him because that desire was there. So Vishwanath Thakur especially says for this. Dhruva Maharaj's example is very, very peculiar, that Krishna fulfilled his material desire. He says, why? Vishwanath Thakur says, इसके बाद किसने बोलना नहीं चाहिए, बच्चे को दिया नहीं. बच्चा आया था, इतना मेहनत किया बच्चे ने, तो बच्चे को दिया. And if somebody desires pure devotional service, will Krishna award that? No?
Unless he is, because he is very, very selfish. Krishna says, I will not give you pure devotion, whatever you want I will give you. But if you he gives, I'm not saying no. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is no Mahavadanyaya, but it's very, very, that's why it's a pure devotion is rarely achieved.
Pure devotion is rarely achieved. Rupa Goswami says, why is it rarely achieved? Sudurlabha.
Sudurlabha.
Very rarely achieved. Because if somebody has pure devotion, then Krishna has to become their servant. His or her servant. So Krishna says, itna asani se nahi baba. It's not so easy to get pure devotion service. But if we desire, Krishna awards. If somebody says, I want pure devotional service, I want to become the Shuddha Bhakta, we desire that, what will Krishna award? What does Krishna give?
He gives.
Huh?
He might give us the determination.
He might give us determination. No. In Pracheta's section, Prabhupada answers this. Prabhupada says what you have, all of you have now. Prabhupada association of devotees is awarded. If you want pure devotion is where in the association of devotees. Start practicing. That's why Rupa Goswami says Adav Shraddha. Right? That's all pure devotional service, 9 steps. Adav Shraddha, little Shraddha we have in Shuddha Bhakti, in Bhakti, then we are awarded the association of devotees. So Krishna awards, if our desire is for pure devotional service, which we all begin with in Bhakti, we all begin with, okay, I want pure devotion to Krishna. Krishna awards the association of devotees. So Prachitas, when they get the darshan of the Lord, so they say, Yavatti Maya Sprishta Brahmama Iha Karma Bhi. We may have to roam around in this world. Right? We may have to take more births. Tavat Bhavat Prasangana. We want association of your devotees. And that's why you find Prachitas get association of Narad Muni. So Lord Shiva sends them, but after that Prachitas, they get association of Narad Muni. So, Prahlad Maharaj desired remembrance of Krishna. He had that pure.
What is Prachita?
Prachitas are the sons of who can tell? In the 5th canto, you will find that story. Fourth canto. Prachitas are the sons of Prachini Bhari who are sent for performing tapasya. Right? So they performed tapasya, they were underwater, right? And they performed tapasya together. When the Lord appeared to them, right? Their desire was pure. So when they desired pure devotional service, Lord gave them the association of Narad Muni. That's where you will get it. Yeah. So Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto you find Prahlad Maharaj's example. He prays, "Oh Lord, give me your remembrance." And Prahlad Maharaj. So Akrura, Kuresh, I have 8, 10. Okay. So which desire is a valid desire? Which desire would you call a valid desire?
Anything
A
which
proper desire.
which takes-
Because we have learned desire management. Till now we have learned parasthiti, manasthiti. We discussed how different kind of people, from atheists to jnanis to yogis to all of them, their desire is getting fulfilled through Krishna. We discussed with devotees, a devotee with wrong desires, a devotee who feels that desire is wrong, but what to do, I still have to practice, and a devotee who wants pure devotional service. How to now, how do I identify which desire is a valid desire?
To serve the devotees and Krishna.
To serve the devotees and Krishna is a valid desire. Okay. Anything else? Sorry? The desire that takes us closer to Krishna. Anything else is a valid desire? The desire that gives pleasure to Krishna. Wonderful. Whatever. And if you have to go through suffering for it, is that pure desire? अपना हाल खराब करके कृष्ण को प्लीज करना पड़ेगा. That's a pure desire. The gopis are ready to go to hell. For what? For a moment.
For eternity.
For eternity.
For one moment of Krishna's headache.
If it can relieve Krishna of one moment of Krishna's headache. That means we are ready to undergo suffering. Right? How about going back home, back to Godhead? Is that a pure desire? No?
If it is not the intention to serve, then it's a material desire.
But that's where the soul belongs. Does the soul not? Prabhupada, every purport, every lecture, go back home, back to Godhead, go back home, back to Godhead, Prabhupada is saying. Is that a pure desire?
Go back home, back to God. Suppose
Sorry?
you say they are suffering here, so going back there, all sufferings will disappear. Then it is not a
Then it's not back home, back to God, it is liberation.
Okay.
We are seeing it as I'm talking going back home, back to God, to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual Goloka Vrindavan.
But if there is no intention of service, or you don't have that service mentality, then going back home, back to God, it is a form of sense gratification.
It will become Sayujya Mukti. Right? Okay. So all this, so we should know what are right desires. Why I'm saying all this, why I'm asking all of you? Because tomorrow, or even today, let's say, tomorrow when you're at the temple, let's say, or you're at the in front of the altar, your home altar, or when you are about to sleep and you play, let me offer a prayer. So unless we know what is the right prayer, we may end up asking something material itself. Right? Cloak it, cover it up, and think it is pure desire. No, it's not. When we study Bhagavad Gita, when we study Bhagavatam, when we hear gurus, when we hear it from devotees, we understand what is a right desire. While otherwise within Krishna consciousness also there is sufficient scope of getting cheated. Right? There is so much scope of getting cheated here in terms of what you manifest as desire in front of Krishna. Krishna, let me have a big home. In that I'll have a small altar for you. Right? But I want to serve you, Krishna. That's why I'm asking for a big home. Right? Big home. Right? Like sometimes one may say, we are going to India. We are going to Dham. Yeah, Mayapur we go for 3 days. And remaining all the time we are going all around. Right? So what are we trying to do? we may say devotional service, but the devotional service remains small, everything else kind of fills in. Right? The rest, so many things fill in. So we have to ask ourselves which desire is a valid desire. Right? So Srila Prabhupada says we should pray for association of devotees. Right? Like somebody passes away. Generally in India they say Shanti mile unko, they rest in peace. What is rest in peace, Prabhupada says? What is very peace in material world? Who is resting in peace in material world? Prabhupada says if we have to pray, we should pray for oneself and pray for others that they get association of devotees. Now think of when you all have association of devotees here in Brampton, right? So many devotees are working for it, for all of you. Should we not? How should we look at it? Wow, how did I get it? This association of devotees is where pure devotional service is. This is where, if I serve nicely, this is the blessing of Krishna for me. Right? So, praying for association of devotees, praying that my intelligence becomes pure enough to understand scriptures. These are right desires to manifest. So, how do we check the quality of our desires? For everything you have quality. Milk ka quality check karte hain, water ka quality, air quality. How do we check the quality of our desires? 3 ways I'll say. The first is, it is called introspection. Right? We introspect in our own heart and we find out. You require advancement, spiritual advancement for it. That you should be able to see these are my desires and how are these desires. Right? So the example comes in the Bhagavatam is Pingla. 11th canto, the 24 gurus, Pingla the prostitute, she is standing there at the night, no customers are coming her way, and she goes through that introspection. When she goes through introspection, she understands what I am looking, for favors from these worldly men. Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in my heart and waiting for me. Why don't I turn to Krishna? Right? That introspection from what she is, what she becomes, to the point the Avadhut Brahmana says she is my guru. Just by her introspection of the desires. Second way that you can understand the quality of our desires is how do we get to know about our disease? If I'm feeling diseased, but I don't know what is the disease. Who can tell me? Symptoms. The doctor. The doctor sees reports. I can also see reports, but I can't make out anything out of it. What's there in that report? But the doctor can tell me. See, the gurus, our superiors can tell us, this is not proper. You should not desire this. You should not. So if I cannot introspect, what should I do? I should go to my superiors and especially gurus. They can tell us. If we have a certain desire, go and explain. Am I thinking right? Is it the right thing to look for while I am practicing Krishna consciousness? Right? And the third thing, how you can introspect your desires is you require a lot of humility. Otherwise you will not be able to understand. Humility is that quality, if we are humble enough, then we will confront ourselves. That this is bad about me. This is wrong about me. Right? Like, we see somebody possessing something, having something, and the desire comes, mere paas hona chahiye. Usko kya mila? Why does this person have? I also. So, generally you'll find people in ye to normal hai, aise sab sochte hain. But a sincere desire, a sincere devotee, a humble devotee will understand, no, this is not proper. I need to work on myself. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I working like this? Why am I not cooperating with devotees? Generally as devotees, when we are serving together, there are confrontations that happen. There are misunderstandings that happen. Only a humble devotee will cross those two situations. No, this is not right from my part. Why am I behaving like this? Why should I think like? So when we have humility, like Jiva Goswami, you find in Vrindavan, when Rup Kaviraj came, Rup Narayan came to debate. What did Rupa Goswami do?
He signed the patra.
The Vijay Patra, he simply signed and said, मुझको कोई डिबेट नहीं करना है आपसे. What did Jiva Goswami do? रूप गोस्वामी को आ रहा है, ऐसा कुछ किया, some nothing, come sit with me. And he debated and defeated Rupa Narayan in the debate. And Rupa Goswami got to know. He called Jiva Goswami. Now who is Jiva Goswami? Imagine. He was called and said, Rupa Goswami told him, because you have this tendency to debate, Vrindavan is not for debate. Vrindavan is for devotion. Get out from Vrindavan. Now what did Jiva Goswami do? नहीं चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा. ये like ऐसे कैसे? Understand me. Jiva Goswami is so humble. He says, Rupa Goswami could see the pride in my heart, and that's why I am being banished from Vrindavan. He left Vrindavan, and on the banks of Yamuna, at one place where crocodile caves are there, he would live in those caves. One time Sanatana Goswami was passing by that area. The local people said, there is one Baba which has come here. Very nice Baba. Very nice devotee. And Sanatana Goswami is thinking, भाई सबको जानता हूँ. ये कौन नया बाबा आया इधर? ब्रज में कोई बाबा आया, मुझे पता नहीं. ये कौन सा बाबा है? And then when he went to that place, he saw it is Jiva Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami goes back to Vrindavan and meets Rupa Goswami. And he says, you are following all the aspects of Krishna consciousness. Leave one. You are not practicing Jiva Daya. And he goes away. मैं सब कर रहा हूँ, जीव दया नहीं कर रहा हूँ. जीव गोस्वामी पे दया नहीं कर रहा. जीव गोस्वामी दया. And he called him back. Come back. My guru is telling, आजा वापस आजा. Right? But I'm giving example of Jiva Goswami. If you're at that level, imagine. At that point, understanding, my guru sees me better. He can see me better. Right? And if he sees pride in my heart, that's why he's punishing me. At that time, that humility. Right? So introspection, our gurus, and humility. Right? Like that milk drinking brahmachari. Right? You know the story of milk drinking brahmachari? No? Lord Chaitanya, in Shiva's Angan, he would do whole night kirtan, sankirtan. Nobody was allowed. Only those who have pure devotional service, who are practicing Shuddha Bhakti, they were allowed. One time, Shiva's Thakur's Sasu, mother-in-law, happened to be there. And Mahaprabhu could sniff it. Oh, somebody is here who is not supposed to be out. You cannot be here. One time, one brahmachari who would only drink milk, no grains ever, only milk, would sustain only on milk. Imagine, pure, only milk drinking brahmachari. This milk drinking brahmachari somehow convinced Shivas Thakur, allow me to be there. For some few moments, if I can see Lord Chaitanya dancing and that Sankirtan happening, my life would be successful. And Shivas Thakur, simple-hearted person, he allowed him. And when Lord Chaitanya began dancing, when the Kirtans were going on, Lord Chaitanya stopped. There is somebody here who is not supposed to be. And Shivas Thakur on that day, Sasu nahi tha, koi nahi tha. No blasphemers are here, no Gyanis are here, no Mayavadis are here. And again Lord Chaitanya, somebody is here who is not supposed to be. Ultimately Shivas Thakur said, oh, there is one very nice brahmachari. He only drinks milk. Lord Chaitanya gets so angry. What does this person think? Just by drinking milk you can purchase Krishna? You can get Krishna prem? This person, imagine this person, I am giving this example of milk drinking brahmachari. At that point, what will come in the heart? What do these people think? They are eating grains whole day and having feast. I only drink milk. I am so great. This person comes out and begs to Lord Chaitanya, yes, I am the unqualified one. I am not supposed to be here. Right? He begs this humility that you see in that milk drinking brahmachari. Then it's possible. Oh, my desires, I have bad desires. That's why. Right? Okay, how to improve on the quality of our desires? Desire management is our topic. How do you improve on the quality of desires? By hearing from, first answer is by hearing from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Very nice Shravanam when we do. when we go through these pastimes, when we hear Prabhupada, when we read Bhagavatam, we can see this is where I am, this is what I want to become. This is Bhagavatam showing, and I want to move, right? काय होता से तू काय झाला से तू मराठी में ऐसा बोलते हैं, है ना? तू क्या था, क्या हो गया, क्या बन गया तू, right? So we should look in the pages of Bhagavatam, we should look through Bhagavad Gita verses, oh, this is what ideal is, and how far I am, right? So when Ajamil was lying on that bed, his deathbed, the Yamadutas came and the Vishnudas were around, right? And what happened? When the Yamadutas and Vishnudas were around, right? He heard Yamadutas, he heard Vishnudas. And Ajamil, by hearing that conversation, could understand. Both pati tu main. I am very fallen. I need to do something. And he said such a sigh of relief when the Yamadutas are told, इसको second chance देना पड़ेगा. मुझको मेरे बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. He's so happy. और मेरे बारे में बात. For some time, I was so happy. Wow, what discussion is this? Beautiful. Just by hearing from Vishnudas, he understood, right? You find Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni. Okay. So by hearing, we understand. Second thing is, when we get superior instruction, when the superiors instruct us, they see in us, right? They see in us some lacunae, somewhere where we have some pitfall, some bad thing in us, and when they tell us, wow, oh really? Is it wrong? Right? Am I not supposed to do? Like Srila Prabhupada, when the first time he gave initiations in New York, Prabhupada only told them chanting Hare Krishna, 16 rounds, you have to chant. And on the next day, when the morning they came at 2nd Avenue for the class, Prabhupada wrote on a small board the 4 regulatory principles. What? You have to follow this also. Initiation kal ho gaya. Aaj bata rahe. And many devotees feel, oh, this is what American life means. Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling. By mistake, has he written no in front of all of them? Does he understand? We are hippies, we are Americans. It seems no is printing mistake. But Prabhupada said, no has to be there for all. No meat eating, no intoxication. Said for many of them, for the first time, they understood, are these wrong things to do? So they understood, okay, take it. If Swamiji has initiated us, Swamiji wants us, we will follow all the no things. And the very next day, what happened? Prabhupada happened after the lecture. Prabhupada walked out of the 2nd Avenue storefront. Prabhupada walked out, and Prabhupada saw devotees are going across the street to a donut shop to eat donuts. And the class that Prabhupada gave the next day, Prabhupada says in the lecture, 16 rounds, following 4 regulatory principles, and devotees do not eat do-nots. For Prabhupada, they were do-nots, donuts. Right? ये भी छोड़ना पड़ेगा. Prabhupada had to explain, no, if it is offered to Krishna, devotees don't. So you understand, these new initiates, they understood one by one, by superior instruction, they understood, oh, these are wrong things to do, these are wrong desires to have. Right? Okay, third, how do you improve upon the quality of your desires? By associating with those who have exalted desires. When you associate with those people who have exalted desires, Narada's example, the boy in the village, he says the 4 Bhakti Vedantas, 4 months they stayed in the village. I'm a small boy and I was just loitering around. Uchishta lepan anumodito bhavan. By eating their remnants, by doing seva for them, and by hearing from them. Just association with those who have exalted desires, we also develop that desire. If you can, how many of you have seen that video, The Silver Spoon? No? My request to all of you, go to YouTube. Indradyumna Maharaj has given this lecture, The Silver Spoon. How Vishnujan Maharaj, sannyasis who were banished from iskcon by Prabhupada for some time, they happened to come to the town where he's staying along with his wife, previous ashram wife. And Vishnujan Maharaj and the interaction with them. And he leaves, while leaving, he leaves a silver spoon which is Prabhupada's Maha. That silver spoon, for that silver spoon he went around searching for these sannyasis. Went around temples in iskcon. And imagine this person is today Indradyumna Maharaj with us. Right? So when we associate with those who have exalted desires, our desires also become purified. Right? Okay. Another place Srila Prabhupada says, have spiritual heroes. Then your desires also will become exalted. When the kind of heroes you keep in life, spiritual heroes, why do we celebrate the appearance days and disappearance days of acharyas? On those days we should hear about them. Right? Like if you go to iskcon of Silicon Valley, for them Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance days and disappearance days is the sabse bada festival. I was one time there, Vaishika Maharaj was not around. And devotees on that day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, they collected something like $500,000 of pledge for book distribution. And I was like, 500,000? How did you do this? I was like, yahan se yahan sab taraf. And then I was told, if Maharaj would have been around, 1 million to aise ho jata. I'm like, baapre. So, and you go to that temple, everyone is like, Vaishika Maharaj, Vaishika Maharaj, Vaishika. What happens when you have heroes? Then you have devotees there. They just plan, you know what? Okay, let's go to the masjid for book distribution. They actually stand in front of a mosque and they do Bhagavad Gita, Urdu Bhagavad Gita distribution. Small kids there. They all breathe book distribution, Sankirtan. From how have their desire, how has their desires changed? The spiritual hero that they have kept. That hero. For all of us, one hero is Prabhupada. Read Prabhupada Lilamrit and see, whoever reads Prabhupada Lilamrit, their devotional service becomes so pakka, so amazing, because then we get a hero in our life. Another place Srila Prabhupada says, I have given morning program. If you wake up in the morning and in the Brahma Muhurta you chant Hare Krishna, Prabhupada says your desires will change. Just by chanting, we may chant throughout the day, there are no hard and fast rules. But Prabhupada says morning program. So Prabhupada went to Hong Kong to meet Bhurujan Prabhu and Mataji. And Prabhupada for a long time, Prabhupada did not get information from them. And when he got, Prabhupada understood that, their preaching style has changed. So when Prabhupada went to Hong Kong, Bhurujan Prabhu says, I and my wife, we went to pick up Prabhupada at the airport. And we had a big sedan that we had brought. The driver was in front and 3 of us were sitting behind. And Prabhupada, Jagatari Mataji says, his wife, I understood Prabhupada is not in good mood. He's angry. So I closed the window so that the driver will not hear what's going on. And Prabhupada, she says, Prabhupada put his cane on the floor, banged it. Prabhupada said, so how is your morning program going on? And Bhurujan Prabhu answered, Prabhupada, we are in Hong Kong, people are very busy here, so we have an evening program that we do. Prabhupada said, whose disciple are you? He said, Prabhupada, your disciple. I gave you morning program. Why did you make it evening program? Prabhupada was so strict and serious about this morning program. Prabhupada says, by following the morning program, your desires will change. Okay. And last one. Prabhupada says, how do you change your desires? Prabhupada says, start living for the sake of others. Your desires will change, Prabhupada says. When you preach, when you go out on Sankirtan, when you go out and give holy name to others, when you assist in someone else's Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says, your lower desires will vanish, Prabhupada says. They will vanish into thin air. Why? Because you are engaging in the highest compassionate activity possible. When you get into preaching, Prabhupada says, your lower self will vaporize, Prabhupada says. Right? Just by assisting in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Right? So, Prabhupada was one time, Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Somebody asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, you are alive and you have still kept your murti in the temple. Do you understand? What does it mean? Prabhupada said, yes, I know. They will come and offer namaskar to my murti, right? My vigraha, and I will have to accept their karma. And Prabhupada said, I have come here for that purpose. I have come to this world to accept their karma, so all of them get delivered. Right? And Srila Prabhupada wants us also, preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya is guaranteeing, I will take you in this life, back home, back to world. And Prabhupada would say, I have the back door key, front door पे ज़्यादा भीड़ रहता है कभी. I have the back door key for Vaikuntha. Just keep on holding to my dhoti. All that Prabhupada is saying, जारे देखो तारे कहो, Krishna Upadesh, Amaratna Guru Hai Tare Desh. Okay, thank you very much. So we all learn desire management. Desires is what we are made up of. What are wrong desires, what are right desires, and ultimately desire to purify our heart and go back to God. Thank you. Any questions, comments you have? I can take them. Yes.
In this, we saw that Jada Bharat.
Third life. In the third life was
Okay, not Jada Bharat, sorry, Ajamil.
Ajamil. Haan.
So,
Why was his name Ajamil? You know?
no, I don't know.
वो माया को बोला आजामिल. आजामिल नाम था उसका.
Ajamil, for example, my question was that the power of name of Lord Krishna is more or the desire is more, because when Jadabharata was calling his son Narayan, he was not.
Ajamil was calling his son Narayan.
I'm
Fifth
so
canto,
sorry,
sixth
I'm
canto.
getting confused with this.
Ajamil was calling his son Narayan.
Narayan. That means when you're calling somebody's name, that person appears in front of you. Like for example, even if his son was named as Narayan, he was pining for his son, not necessarily the Lord, but still
the name.
The name. So the name is more powerful than the desire.
No, in the sense that Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva smaran. Right? If you think of Krishna, thinking of Krishna is, even chanting the name of Krishna, Krishna takes it, okay, you have at least chanted my name, right? You may have, that's why India traditionally will find names were very thoughtfully given, right? I was in Delhi one time, my brother was in army in those days, so I was visiting him. Another officer, he came with his family, and they had a daughter and a son. And when I asked what is their name, what was the name? Comma and dot. You're laughing, I'm telling you, this is India. Comma and dot. And I was like, what? Full stop का होगा comma dot हो गया full stop भी. Comma dot. Anyway, these are the names we give. You go and look at our parents, father's name, father's name. Everything is around Krishna somewhere around, right? Some spiritual religious names. For what? Bhagavatam is the evidence for it. Ajamil called out to his son, but because he said Narayana, that is the name. And why did he keep that name, Narayan, for his child? When Ajamil was not there one day at home, some kids in the village, they, out of fun, they told the sadhus, हमारे गांव में बहुत बड़ा साधु रहता है, अजामिल नाम का, उसके घर पे जाओ. And the sadhus went there, right? And somehow his wife ended up asking, आप बताओ क्या नाम रखूं बच्चे का? The sadhu said, Narayan रख दो. And because he chanted Narayan, Krishna takes that very seriously. At the point of death, you chanted Narayan. Right? So Radha Govind Swami Maharaj is very famous for saying this. How many Vishnudutas came for Ajamil? 4. क्यों 4 क्यों आए? और यमदूत कितने आए पहले बताओ? यमदूत कितने आए थे? 3. क्यों 3 क्यों आए? ओके 3 लगते खींचने को. पाप 3 चीजों से होता है, काया वाचा मनसा, इसलिए 3 लगते हैं. फिर विष्णुदूत 4 क्यों आए? ना रा य न 4 अक्षर. इमेजिन 32 लेटर्स वाला हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र ट्रैफिक जाम लग जाए. हमारे लिए ट्रैफिक जाम लगेगा, कितने आने पड़ेंगे, हरे कृष्णा कितना बड़ा नाम है, right? So even if jokingly, even if we are mocking, we are out of we are just calling out Sanketyam Parihasyam va. Bhagavatam, there is a verse in the 6th canto. Just out of some indication we say, some out of fun we say, but at the point of death, especially at the point of death, then second chance milega. Krishna takes that act at the point of death very seriously. Ultimately, it was his name.
So my question is, ultimately it was his name. So for example, tomorrow if I'm back and I'm thinking about my mother, but I still, because I'm a devotee, I take Krishna's name. But my desire is to see my mother or see my anybody like sibling.
Yes.
So, but I take Krishna's name. So
but if it happens at the point of
design
death,
is different, but the name is Krishna.
Yeah.
So still I get me.
Yeah.
So the name is more powerful than the design.
Surely. Krishna's mercy is more powerful. A child may not understand, but the parents understand. No.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like back in India, मेरे दो बेटे, एक का नाम समर्थ है, एक का नाम शिवा है. तो अगर जैसे हम कभी डांटते हैं ऐसा नहीं करो शिवाय नाम, तो बहुत सारे लोग ये बोलते हैं कि आप भगवान का नाम ले रहे हो और आप बच्चों को डांट रहे हो, तो ऐसे पाप लगता है, तो आप उनका नाम चेंज कर दो. तो कितना सही है ये चीज? क्योंकि अगर हम कृष्णा भी रखते
फालतू में बच्चों को मत डांटो. नाम में प्रॉब्लम नहीं, बच्चे में नहीं, आपके डांटने में सब शुरू हुआ है. तो आपको समझना चाहिए कौन से डांट अच्छी है, कौन से नहीं. थोड़ा निकनेम रख के डांटो. इसको पिंटू चिंटू कर दो और पिंटू को डांटो.
अभी तो कृष्ण जी को डांटती थी, उनको बांध के रखती थी. तो
because Krishna wants to get that reciprocation with Yashoda. Krishna wants that Yashoda should be running behind him and show a stick to him, and Krishna wants to go through that. He wants to experience that bhava, and only Yashoda can do it. No one else can do it. Right?
Okay.
So if you have an issue that मेरे बच्चे का नाम शिव रख दिया अभी डांटना भी है तो उसको पिंटू रख दो. एक छोटा कुछ तो निकनेम होगी, फिर डांटो, इतना डांटना है. Yes.
जी मेरे दो क्वेश्चन हैं. सबसे
पहला प्रसाद कितने बजे ये पूछेंगे ना. मुझे घड़ी नहीं दिख रही, मेरे पास घड़ी नहीं. 8:40 ऑलरेडी.
सो पहला क्वेश्चन तो है कि इफ एवरीथिंग इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन डिजायर्स, हाउ इज द कर्मा कमिंग इनटू पिक्चर? सो दैट्स वन. द सेकंड इज, क्या डिजायर्स का जो आउटकम है इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द युगास एज वेल? सो फॉर एग्जांपल, इन प्रीवियस युगास जो भी हम अगर मन से भी किसी का बुरा चाहते थे तो हमें पाप लगता था. बट कलयुग में अगर हम किसी का मन से बुरा चाहते हैं और बुरा करते नहीं है उसके साथ, तो पाप नहीं लगता है. इसी को अगर हम डिजायर में देखा जाए, कलयुग में अगर हम कुछ मन से डिजायर करते हैं तो क्या वो, और वर्सेस अगर सतयुग में हमने वो मन से डिजायर की, तो दोनों का
रिएक्शन बहुत जल्दी आ जाएगा. सतयुग में, कलयुग में थोड़ा सा उसको बिल्डअप होगा, लेकिन होगा जरूर. What is there in the mind will not remain in the mind for long. It will manifest. Right? It will manifest. तो ध्यायतो very soon that ध्यायतो will become, it will manifest. It will not remain in the mind for long. It will not be able to hold for long. In Kali also. But yes, एक बार हो गया तो ठीक, माइंड में चल रहा है, चलते फिरते बहुत कुछ होता रहता है. Kaliuga benefit is, that was Parikshit Maharaj's, exalted nature that he allowed Kaliuga to enter. He saw this is the benefit in Kaliuga. One was that mental offenses or mental things are not, given reaction on. Second thing, only by chanting of the holy name. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha. Two things he saw. But, so in your first question of, karma and desires, my past karma and because of that desires are there. Whatever my actions have been there, they impel me to desire. Or those desires will further impel me to continue with, those desires will turn into action. That connection is always there. So if in the past, my karma has been, and I get a certain birth now, then the paristhithis around me will be in a certain way. And then the manasthiti will get affected.
But for example, if I have a certain desire, but I do not have the karmas to fulfill that desire, that desire won't be fulfilled, right?
No. Why would it not be fulfilled? If Krishna wants to fulfill it, actually Krishna has to fulfill it, right? You may not have the deserving factor, but then what is mercy then? Okay, Krishna, I want to fulfill it. Can happen. We have to bring in Krishna all the time. We should not just keep ourselves there and see if some mere karan ho raha hai. Right? I may not have, but Krishna wants to give it. Like, did Sudama want the wealth ever? Krishna said, I want to give you wealth. For what? So that Sudama will remain humble. That's Bhagavatam. Sudama had pride अपने गरीबी का. मैं इतने गरीबी में जी सकता हूँ. ये प्राइड नहीं चाहिए मेरे भक्त के हाथ में. मैं तुमको दूंगा. So being Krishna conscious means we understand if Krishna gets involved, yes का no का yes, सब हो सकता है. सब रूल टूट सकते हैं when Krishna gets involved. Generally, yes, what you are saying is correct. If I don't deserve, right, it may not come in front. But if I desire, I hold on with a certain desire. उसको इसलिए, Swami Agnidhara, Maharaj Agnidhara, he went to the forest to perform tapasya. For what? He wanted association of the heavenly Apsara Purva Chitti. And the name Prabhupada says is given Purva Chitti, जो पूर्व चित्त में थी, वही सामने उसको लेके आए ब्रह्मा जी सामने. ये देखो तुमको यही ऐसी चाहिए थी ना, ले लो. So whatever was there, that was Yeah. Shall we stop?
One last question, is it okay?
Last comment from, not a question from.
So, Parasthiti occurs because of a manasthiti, no?
Parasthiti occurs because of my past
Manasthiti.
Past manasthiti will bring parasthiti. That's what Prabhupada is saying. You will become a cat or a dog, Prabhupada is the purpose.
So, that means how we think also, how we behave in a particular situation also is predestined. Unless we perform devotional service sincerely.
Agreed.
Right? That means what the choice for people who are not devotees?
Only the mercy of devotees. Only if devotees go out with books, only if devotees go out with Sankirtan, that's the only hope. Otherwise there is no hope. They are just caught in Maya's web now. For all of us, how are we here? Unless some devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Emono Durmati Samsara Bhitare Podiya Ashinu Ame. He says, Kono Vaishnava Pathai na diya tum. I was in Samsara Sagar. Some Vaishnava, that photo, that painting is there. That Vaishnava is fallen into the ocean and somebody is giving hand, pulling up. For all of us, some Vaishnava came somewhere. And that's how we are here today. Otherwise, we were also Brahman. Samsara Chakre, Bhavatam, Chaprata. That's the only hope. Without if Prabhupada would not come to New York, what was their magic? They would have just continued their karma cycles.
We would have continued our karma cycles.
One Vaishnava. Vrindavan chhod ke nikla hai. The world, so many souls, their destiny only is changed. They may not ever desired also. They may not ever desired कि ऐसा भी कुछ चाहिए. But a Vaishnava can create that favorable desire also in the hearts. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. So tomorrow morning we are having a class at Toronto Temple. If bhakti is so simple, then why people are working so hard to go to hell? if going back to God, come back to God is so easy, then why are people working hard to go to hell? That will be a topic for discussion tomorrow morning. How do we end the program? Mahaprasad?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, okay. You just say thank you.
We can. Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. You're also going back?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class on desire management, and thank you for devotees for listening patiently and coming today on the working days. Prabhuji is giving tomorrow Bhagavatam class at the Toronto Temple, and tomorrow evening we have class at Advaitnath Prabhuji's house. So those who wish, they can come to his house also tomorrow. Just let the host know. now we'll have prasadam. Thank you.
You serve right here? You serve here? Yeah. You'll be available.
Sing.
You'll be available.